All right, so this is Jaden Schramm, and Jaden's going to talk to us a little bit about when and how he was diagnosed, and because you were pretty young, you were 6.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened?
Um, I was at my grandma and grandpa's, and I was having a lot to drink. So my mom and dad took me home and tested me with my dad's meter, and I was high. So they took me into the hospital.
And the rest is history, huh?
Yeah.
That's about it. All right, so Jaden's dad also has type 1 diabetes. And this is Miranda. So this is Jaden's mom. So what made you, I guess, suspicious to test him and what happened?
Just with us already having knowledge about diabetes, we knew that being high was a strong symptom. He didn't want to eat supper. He just wanted to drink. So we gave him a glass of chocolate milk. So he drank that, and his dad, after that, his dad's like, we knew he wasn't showing up on the meter. The meter goes up to 600.
And it was just reading high.
It was just reading high. It just said high. So we both kind of knew it, but his dad wanted to wait a little bit, and he knew it and I knew it, but you don't want to admit it. So we waited about a half an hour, retested him, and it still said high. So we took him down to the ER in Lancaster, and they pulled labs on him and called an ambulance and transferred him to Madison.
Okay. Was he sick at all? Anything before that? Do you have anything?
He was diagnosed 2 days after Christmas.
Okay.
So right a week before Christmas, he had bronchitis. So during Christmas, we just thought, well, he's tired from getting over bronchitis and Christmas. That makes everybody tired. So we just didn't think much of it. Well, that night, it was actually December 28th. Day I'll always remember. And that's when he was diagnosed.
So before I eat anything, I have to check myself, and I put in what I was, and then I add up the carbs, what I ate, and put it in here, and it gives myself medicine automatically.
So what do you put in there then? What do you enter? You enter what your reading was, right, when you checked yourself, and then you put in what you ate?
Yeah, like how many carbs I add, and then
And what if you don't know? What do you do? Like, do you bring meals from home or do you eat school lunches usually?
I eat school lunches usually, and I have this clipboard at school. It has all the carbs for everything,
Nice.
so I can just add that up and just put it in.
So what happens when you're somewhere that you don't know? Do you kind of do you know about how much it is? Or
Yeah.
so if you're at a friend's house and say you, whatever, grab a bag of potato chips or something, you know about what that is, so then you'd guess?
And like on back of like potato chips, there's like carbs and stuff on the back. It tells you how much. So that's
So you just make sure you go look it up then? Interesting. So how do you run your pump? What?
well. You have to press this button,
Okay.
and then it shows you it wants it to tell you how what you was when you check yourself, and then you press act, and then it put in how many carbs, and then press act, and then it tells you how much it's gonna give you, and then if it's that okay, just press act again, and it goes in.
And then it goes in. So do you know what about is normal to go in you? Would you know if it said that it was giving you too much?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what normally do you get then?
Usually no higher than 4
Okay.
units.
So if it read like 7 units, what would you do?
You can lower it or raise it if you want. if it wants to give me 7 units, I would think of what I ate, and if it has a lot of sugar and stuff in it,
Then you might think that's okay.
yeah. But
Okay.
if it's like a little bit of potato chips and it wants to give me 7 units, I would think of what I was when I checked myself, and then if I was high, that would be okay. But if I was like regular, that would be too much.
Oh. And what do your friends think of the pump? Do they ever say anything about it?
No.
No?
Most of them, my friends are used to this and know what it is and everything.
Yeah.
And they usually have it covered up with my skirt because it just hooks onto your belt, and then your shirt covers it.
So do you have to do anything different for, like, say when you're in gym class or if you're outside at recess and you're playing a lot?
No.
No.
I usually, if I'm low, I might get low. Then I just go into the office or wherever and check myself, and then if I'm low, I have like fruit snacks or something.
Okay. So you check yourself before gym
check-
class or just before you eat?
Just before I eat.
Before you eat. Okay, thanks. All right, Jaden's gonna go ahead and show us how he tests himself then.
You take a strip and put it in.
And you get those regular interruptions like that, right?
And then you just squeeze your finger until some blood comes out, and then you put it on this strip. And then
63.
So your needle stick, that looks a little different, Jaden. Is that a one-time use thing? What is that? Or do you have something that goes in there?
Well, there's this little needle thing. I have a bunch of them, and then all I do is they come with a little cap. You just put them in here. There's a little needle, and then just put this lid on there,
Yeah.
and then you just rest your finger on that, and there's a hole, and the needle comes out of the hole.
So do you change that needle each time or no? Do you change that every
Couple of days.
every couple days?
And these are just sugar tablets. And he'll chew them and give them.
What's your favorite flavor of the sugar tabs?
Like, do they taste good or no?
Is that a strawberry one? Or what is that
I
one?
like fruit punch. I like
Fruit punch. Is that your favorite?
I kind of like the, yeah, I like those.
Like those? Because I know they make them in lots of different flavors too. They have grape and different ones, right?
Oh yeah, different.
I kind of like the
Mixed.
orange too.
Yeah, orange. Well, thanks, bud. Okay, so this is Mike Schramm. This is Jaden's dad, which is a little bit different case because we've learned a little bit that generally it will skip a generation. In this case, it didn't. So Mike has been dealing with type 1 diabetes since he was 18. You were diagnosed. And how were you diagnosed? What happened? Well,
I was just real thirsty all the time and peeing a lot, which actually you pee a lot,
Classic.
so that makes you thirsty. So mom took me into the doctor, and they did all their blood work and all that stuff, and that's when they come back with that. So they just shipped me down to the hospital. I think it was actually the next day, and yeah, that's when I got trained on how to do all the shots and all
Take care of
that
everything.
stuff.
Were you still in high school then, or were you out of high school at that point?
I just graduated.
Okay.
I think it was actually in the spring, so I think I was just graduated for a couple months.
Okay. And we were talking about a little bit about a lot of times when children will get diagnosed with diabetes, they'll manage their diabetes really or well because of their parents generally managing it too up until they're in their early 20s, and then kind of say screw it type of thing. I've had enough, and kind of go off and do your own thing. And you're kind of talking about that. Yeah, that happens. And
Yep. Yeah, you just kind of get tired of dealing with it, and so you just say screw it and just do whatever you want, and just you don't want to take any of your medicine and do what you're supposed to because it's just sickening, and because nobody else has to do it. You know, everybody else that you're around, and it's just real sickening. You just don't want nothing to do with it anymore. You just kind of, I don't know, go off the deep end, really.
done with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the pumps and stuff, and you have to change them every 3 days, and
Yep.
that's a pain.
Yep. And you always got to carry all the supplies with you if you go somewhere, and make sure you got enough medicine and everything else. So,
Think about it all the time.
yep. In the summertime, the sticky thing that's on your skin, you sweat and that thing peels off. So you got to change it more often than every 3 days. But
Because the sticky thing is attached to the needle and the catheter, so you can't just change the pad around it, correct? You'd have to change out the whole
yeah,
thing, so you'd have to re-stick yourself in order to change it.
yep, because that's sticky thing's actually holding the little
It's part
catheter
of it.
thing
It's all
in
part
your
of it.
skin. Yeah.
Okay. That's not fun. Okay, so part of our project, like we discussed, is a little bit of a teaching moment, essentially. And we kind of talked about this already. So we have this binder, I don't know how well we can see it, but Students with Diabetes Resources, and it's a guide that was put out by the state of Wisconsin. And Miranda said she was given this, you were given it on first diagnosis, or when were you given this?
They actually gave it to us when he was first diagnosed,
Okay.
and then he was hospitalized last January for being sick with the flu. So he was up in Mass at the UW Children's Hospital, and they actually gave me another one just
A
to,
newer copy too. and-
yeah.
Okay. So basically, everything that we could teach Miranda on this, they already know, or Miranda and Mike. So the things that we did find in here that we thought would be helpful were some of the quick tip sheets about hyperglycemia or hypoglycemia and what to do, especially, you know, being are you 12 now, Jaden? 11, almost 12, right? December?
November.
November.
Yeah.
Ooh, coming up quick. So being almost a 12-year-old would be, of course, staying at friends' house and stuff, and parents not knowing what to do, and some parents maybe not wanting to know what to do because they're nervous and scared, like we talked about, and some maybe do want to know and just don't know where to go for information. So some of these, the pamphlets that they have in here could be useful for something like that someday. And the other section that we discussed was the diabetes, the medical management plan that's in here as well. And Miranda said that you fill one of these out every year,
Yep.
that it's signed by your doctor, that it's given to the school nurse. And so the school nurse here isn't always where Jaden is. So does she just come as needed?
Usually they call her on the phone. If he is high or if he is low, they call him. If they don't know what to do, they call me. I can get up to 8 calls a day from
Wow.
up to the school. They have called me before because they couldn't get his sugars up. He was staying in at 80. It doesn't matter what they were doing. Well, I corrected them what to do because they were giving him too much sugar, too many carbs, and not enough time to let him come up. So what I told him to do is give him a juice box, and if not every 15 minutes, wait half an hour to 45 minutes.
Okay.
And after that, he came back home.
And you said he was at 80 and they were trying to get him up. So what is his ideal level? Where do you keep him?
His goal range, they want him between 110 to 150.
Okay.
He is very rarely in that because right now he is going into the preteen stage. So his numbers are all over right now.
And Mike, do you try and stay in that same range then, or what's your normal ideal range, I guess?
It's a little bit lower. I really don't know why, but yeah, they wanted 90 and 120 or 130,
Okay.
something like
And
that.
that sounds a little more like what we've been taught in school as to what is the normal range. So that's why I was wondering if it's just for children that they're trying to keep them a little bit higher just so they don't get that
They
low
do.
that fast.
Because children are more
They're
active.
more active. Yeah.
And they can change on a dime.
Quickly.
Very quick.
Okay.
They so with him going into the preteen age, going through growth spurts right now, it's a very touch and go with what his numbers are going to be.
Okay. So I guess, do you have any questions for us? Is there anything we could look up for you? Is there anything that,
No, I don't think so. Thanks.
is there anything that you would like to tell the nurses of tomorrow, I guess, as to what would be
Educate
helpful for you
yourself on
guys?
it, because you're going to run into diabetics, and as us being small community, there's just not enough education on it. So I guess the more you know about it, the more you're going to be able to help people out.
It's not just about, and I kind of put this in my head all the time, it's not just about passing this test. It's about actually helping somebody next year.
You could save somebody's life if you just educate your life. You know yourself a little bit more.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.